guess I just don't really understand. Why didn't you tell me what's going on here? I mean, I'm not exactly Mr. Popularity back at home. I mean, you've seen it. I've been bullied my entire life. I mean, I know what it's like.
No, you don't.
Okay. What don't I understand?
I am different. I do not belong.
You mean in Lenora?
Anywhere.
Come on, you can't actually believe that.
Everyone looks at me like I'm a monster.
Well, they just don't know you.
You think I'm a monster too.
What?
Yesterday, the way you looked at me, you were scared of me.
No, that's not true. I was surprised. Maybe I was a little upset in the moment, but I mean, I'm sorry. I didn't know what to do. I mean, it was so crazy. It happened so fast, but it doesn't change anything. It doesn't matter. I care for you so much.
Care. But you don't love me anymore.
Who said that I didn't?
You never say it.
I say it.
You can't even write it, Mike. From Mike. From Mike. From Mike. From Mike. From.
Okay, Eleven, you're being ridiculous. What is this? You know what I think of you. You're the most incredible person in the world. And you can't let these mouth breathers ruin you. Ruin us. I mean, they're nobodies. They're nobodies. And you're a superhero.
Not anymore.
Stranger danger, talking stranger things together forever. We're loving stranger things. It's Stranger Things Forever. Rewatching season 4 from the start to the finish. It's Stranger Things Forever. Every podcast we do will cover just 10 minutes. Stranger danger everywhere. I hope that you people still care. It's time for me to do it. Let's get to it. Come on, everyone.
Greetings, stranger friends, and welcome back to Stranger Things Forever. Today is July 14th, 2015, which means that in just a few hours, it will be July 15th. That's how time works. And that will mark 9 years to the day that Stranger Things changed all of our lives. And I have to be honest with you. I said I should do a Stranger Things Forever episode. But what I like to do is just check Google News to see if I'm missing anything. And apparently I was missing some things, like the fact that there's the possibility of a trailer. People the first thing I found was on something called soapcentral.com, which seems like just a soap opera related website, I guess, if soap operas are still a thing. But maybe it says General Hospital, Young and Restless, Beyond the Gates. Beyond the Gates, by the way, if you've ever seen any commercials for that, it looks like the most ridiculous soap opera. And I told my wife, we should watch that because it looks terribly ridiculous and it might be awesome in the worst way. Anyway, the title of this article is Can't Wait. Stranger Things fans are ecstatic as the trailer for season 5 is reportedly dropping soon. But here's the thing, and I hate the internet. I don't hate the internet. Well, some of it. But I hate that, the way that writers and blogs sometimes try to manipulate us and treat us like simpletons, or I should say, maybe not. Maybe that's not the right word, but they look for the easiest way to try to get you to click on an article. And that happened, and I'm clicking on it. There's no way I would go to soapcentral.com unless I want the scuttlebutt on Beyond the Gates. But there's no way I would ever go to this. And this webpage, there's a video playing in the corner at all times. There's a bottom banner for an ad. It's ad heavy. It's like annoyingly ad heavy. And all it does is it looks like it's found someone tweeting about something, and then it's saying, hey, look, some websites are tweeting about this, or some accounts are tweeting about this. Maybe it's going to happen. And I don't read articles online like word for word. I usually don't. What I usually do is you can skim the first 5 or 6 paragraphs, because it's going to be like Stranger Things is a show that premiered in 20. Like they give you everything so that hopefully the SEO, the search engine optimization, hits, and you find their blog. Basically, one account that they're mentioning called My Time to Shine Hello says a brand new trailer for Stranger Things 5 is reportedly dropping tomorrow. Now, this was posted 9:47 this morning. Some people are like, yeah, great. Other people are like, I'll believe it when it happens. Is this real? Then there's something else said Stranger News 11 on Twitter. Here's the thing. I kind of gave up on Twitter. I don't go there anymore. I shouldn't say I never go there. I very rarely go there anymore. I don't post just about anything anymore. I think I post the Stranger Danger shows about my geek mentality. Like, I am fully over on the Blue Sky. And so I miss some certain things like this. And I don't, this says Stranger Things full trailer July 16th. And then it's like, oh, someone's like, they're already changing another day. And it shows that some account, I don't know exactly how this got posted. I don't even know where it's being posted from, but there's a STR universe, Stranger Universe. I don't know where they got this. It's a message, it's a tweet, it's something from the official Stranger Things account. It said signal detected, locking in at 716. Well, 716 is my IQ. No, 716 is July 16th. So is that their little cute little way of saying on July 16th we're getting a full Stranger Things 5 trailer? And I apologize. I'm trying to hold back yawns. It's only 8:54 p.m. and I'm yawning already. But I have a bit of an excuse. My dog woke me up at 4:30, and I kind of have been awake, almost fully awake since then. Not like there are moments I think I dozed off, but I didn't really go back to sleep. So if I do yawn, I'll try to pause it and work around it. But they're coming. They're coming. They're coming fast. They're coming furious. Here comes one now. Ooh, I fought through it. Very good. So I did not mean to do this episode to talk about the trailer. And when I looked it up, they're like, oh, they couldn't do it on the 15th. I was like, wait a second, the 15th. I looked it up. Stranger Things premiered 9 years ago. And I said, oh, yes, as a Stranger Things podcaster, you'd think I would know that. But here's the thing. One thing I will never claim to be is a Stranger Things expert. A Stranger Things, I'm really not much of a Stranger Things news source. What I am and what I've always strived to be is just a fan. I'm a fan who learned, I've never broken any scoops. I've never found any scoops. I find things and I like them and I talk about them. And I do like to just go on and on and on talking about things. So Stranger Things is one of those wonderful things I get to talk about. And that's really what the podcast is for. It's for me to watch and dive into these episodes of television. But all this other stuff on the outside, I'm like, oh yeah, I should have known that, and yet I didn't. Really, what happened is I had the most amazing weekend, and I wanted to keep my love of certain things going. So like Friday, I went to see Superman. It was tremendous. It was amazing. I loved it. On Sunday, I saw the Back to the Future, the musical in Boston. It was amazing. It was awesome. I loved it. So it's like Superman and Back to the Future are two of my favorite things. But you know what a third of my favorite thing is? A third of my favorite thing. You know what let's see if I can try that again in English. Do you know what another one of my favorite things is? Stranger Things and the Stranger Friends. And that's why I said I'm going to hit record tonight. Not because I'm like, there's some great news. I need to get on this. It's just because I wanted to talk to you guys. And it just so happens that there is apparently some news coming. So here I'm going to make a deal with you right now. If the trailer comes tomorrow, I'll be back. If the trailer comes on Wednesday, I shall return. No matter what happens, when we get the trailer, you will be hearing from moi. I will be back to talk about it. But until then, I still have Stranger Things 4 to talk about, Stranger Things 4 to recap, and today I am talking about minutes 10 to 20 of The Monster and the Superhero. So where we last left off, Eleven was crying in her room. I think she was pretty regretful for what she did to Angela. I'm not. I will go down and say Angela deserved it, and I think Eleven should go back and do it again. Does she have another skate? Because Angela has another nostril. I don't know if she hit her she hit her right in the forehead. But she, look, I guess I don't condone violence, but if you happen to be violent, make sure it's against mean old B like Angela. Anyway, you could tell that, in reality, 11 is regretful of what she did, or also she kind of is regretting everything, regretting how she didn't tell Mike, regretting how Mike looked at her. I mean, that comes up later. But she's just thinks about that moment. And she also thinks about the day in the lab all those years ago, when Brenner's like, "What have you done?" And we see, flashes of all those poor kids in the lab. But we jump out of California and we head into the Upside Down. We don't know exactly where in the Upside Down yet, but I think we know it's in Hawkins. And we go and we see some Demogorgon bats, Demobats flying around that spooky house again. We see the vines of the Upside Down coming and connecting to the creature that we are now calling Vecna. I think, now that Dustin officially named this monster, who, Dustin, I think Dustin always names the monsters. We will start referring to him as Vecna. Vecna. And all the vines connect into him. They like stab into him. That's a very Boston accent right there. They lift him off the ground, and it looks like they're almost feeding off of him, or not feeding off of him, feeding him. Like he's feeding off of the vines. And it was like, looking back on this is a bit of a clue. It's like all these vines are connecting to the hub, to the heart, to the brain, to the center of everything that is going on in the Upside Down. There's some red flashes of light. It's very spooky. And then we jump over to Hawkins. Obviously, we wake up in the right side up of Hawkins, where Lucas, it seems like, spent the night hanging out, sleeping in the clubhouse, the converted clubhouse, the Benny's Burgers. And he wakes up and goes outside to find Jason and the other two guys doing something. He's like, what are you guys up to? And they said, we're gearing up, ready for a hunt. They're going to hunt Eddie. And Jason's like, well, don't worry. We're not going to kill him. We're not killers like him. They just want to talk to him and get him to confess. And he does give Lucas an out. He's like, you don't listen. If this is too much for you, you don't have to come with us. You're still one of us. Don't worry about it. And Lucas is like, no, I'm in. And Jason's like, all right, but, well, we know ultimately where it goes, but we should know better at this point. We shouldn't think Lucas is one of them. Lucas is turning on the team, on the party. There's no chance of that. We really should be seeing this for what I think it is, and that's that Lucas is really just wants to keep them at arm's length, keep them right near him, and keep an eye on them at all times. If he lets them go, he has no idea where they're going, and I'm not even sure he'd know how to get to Dustin and to get everyone to warn them. So, and right now, I think the safest place for him is to stay with them. And speaking of Eddie, he's still hanging out in Reefer Rick's boathouse, still paranoid as hell. Which, of course, why wouldn't he be? And actually, the door slams open. It scares the hell out of him. But it's just the gang. It's just Rob and Steve, Max and Dustin. They brought him some food and some news, both good and bad news. And Eddie's like, bad news first, always. So they tapped into the Hawkins PD using Cerebro, which is Dustin's radio. And they found out that they're looking for Eddie. And they're pretty much convinced that he killed Chrissy. And he's like, the good news? And I don't think this is that much of good news. They're like, well, the good news is your name hasn't gone public yet. But it's just a matter of time. And when it does, everyone's going to be gunning for you. He's like, hunt the freak, right? They're like, yeah. Listen. And Dustin's like, listen, so before that, all we need to do, he makes it seem simple. He's like, we need to find Vecna, we need to kill him, and we just need to prove your innocence. And I thought about this. Everything that happens in Stranger Things 4, evil, winning out in some aspects, good winning out in some aspects. Eddie Munson's name is never cleared. His body at this point is never recovered. I know I'm jumping ahead, but we've all seen it. And it just, when he said all we have to do is prove your innocence, and it's a TV show, you think of course they're going to do all that. And they don't. Dustin speaks up to his uncle, at the end, talks about him being a hero. And that's great for Wayne to hear, but it's the rest of the community. Unless we hear something in Stranger Things 5, I would love there to be some sort of, justice for Eddie Munson in the eyes of the people. Because we know it. All his friends know it. But in John Q. public, it would be nice. Not that it matters. Not that that matters, because who cares what other people think. But I think for his lasting reputation, it would be nice if he were to get some sort of vindication. So Eddie seems a little freaked out, but Robin's like, it sounds delusional, but we've kind of done this before. I mean, they've done it more than I have, but we've fought these kind of creatures before. And Steve's like, yeah, we used to have a girl with superpowers, but those are gone. So right now they're all just basically kind of in the brainstorming phase, which means they still have a lot of thought, a lot of work to do to try to come up with a plan. But I love Dustin, who is, yes, sometimes he has some of that only child syndrome, but he is also fiercely optimistic. And he's like, Eddie, there's nothing to worry about. And just at that moment, the police and ambulance race by, and that segues us right into the next scene, because where are they racing? They're racing to the middle of the road to cover the broken corpse of Fred. Because Fred's dead, baby. His eyeless, broken corpse is in the middle of the road getting photographed, then getting covered by a sheet. Nancy is getting questioned by the police about what happened, and she says, how she was talking to Wayne Munson, and all of a sudden Fred was there, and then he's gone. And she's like, what about Victor Creel? And the police, they assure her that he's safe behind bars. There's, he's not gonna be an issue. He's not an issue. He's not a danger. They keep asking her question as Steve's Beamer pulls up with him, Max, Robin, and Dustin, and it's people connecting. coming together. I've said this for years. One of my favorite things is when groups of people who are dealing with certain things over here or over there, they come together right now over Fred's body. And she seems relieved to see them. And she gives like a, happy and like a little wave, maybe. And Steve waves back. And then I watched it again. I'm thinking, is she also like, it's great to see them, but it's really great to see Steve? Like, because there's something going on this season with them. Not that it goes anywhere, sadly. Well, is it sadly? I don't know. You got Jonathan in California. You got Steve right across the street. What a time to be a teenage gal. So we leave Hawkins for the rest of these 10 minutes and we go over to California. And Mike and Will are eating breakfast. Mike's staring at an empty chair where a plate of Eggos is sitting in front of. Levin hasn't come down. So Mike's staring at the chair. Mike's staring at the Eggos. Will's staring at Mike. And you can tell he wants him to give some attention his way. Meanwhile, Jonathan just wants to go see Police Academy 3 back in training. What an amazing franchise. Those first 5 were on heavy rotation in my life. Part 6, which was, what was Citizens on Patrol is part 4. City Under Siege is part 6. That's kind of where it fell off for me. And then part 7, which was just called Mission to Moscow. I don't think I've ever seen that all the way through. But part 6, I'm like, and it was 1989. It's still, I'm in 8th grade. I should have really been into it. But I feel like after assignment Miami Beach, it kind of went downhill for me as far as interest. But back in training, part 3, my goodness gracious. And I will not stand by idly as Will says this movie is supposed to suck. Are you crazy? Anyway, he's not interested in going. And Jonathan's like, what are you, just going to mope around? He's like, no, we're not moping around. The movie's supposed to suck. And got my blood boiling. And it's at this moment, Mike gets up, takes the plate of Eggos, and walks off as Will looks at him. And I'm like, Will, kind of looks like you're moping right now, if you ask me. So this is when we get that whole opening scene that I played at the beginning of this episode of Mike and Eleven. Mike wonders why she didn't tell him about what's really going on. He's been bullied. He can relate. She's like, no, you can't, because it's not the same. She's like, I don't fit in anywhere. He's like, I don't fit in. She's like, where? In California? She's like, anywhere. I'm different. People think I'm a monster. She's like, you think I'm a monster? You're scared of me? He's like, no, I'm not. I was upset maybe, but you're amazing. He's like, I care for you so deeply. Care, but not love. He's like, what? Huh? What? And she's like, that's when she talks about how he never says it. From Mike. If I ever wrote from Mike to letters to my, girlfriend, future wife, I don't know if I'd have a future wife. It's like, I would always be love. I think I throw love in my letters more than Tesla throws it in a love song. That makes sense to some of you. But he's like, whoa. No, it's not like that at all. He goes, don't let these people get to you. You're amazing. I think you're amazing. The most amazing person in the world. You're a superhero. And she just says, not anymore. And my first thought was, hey, Mike, just say you love her. You still haven't said it. All those things you said are nice. Just tell her you love her. It's not that hard. If you feel that way, it's very easy. I think I told my wife, I'm sure I was 17 years old. Let's put it that way. That's how long ago it was. And she was leaving for the night. She drove over and she was leaving for the night. And she was in the car. And I swear it might have been when I asked her to go to the prom with me officially. And I said, 'cause I love you. I'll love you, Penny. Which some people might get that. But I say that all the time too. I say that she's never seen Lost, and I say that all the time. So Mike, Say it. Okay? Yeah, all those things you said are nice and sweet, but tell her you love her. Anyway, we go back out to the living room, and Jonathan and Will are watching Ewok Adventures, an animated Star Wars show from 85 to 86, only lasted for 2 seasons and 26 episodes. And I'm thinking, is this like the first actual Star Wars TV show? I'm pretty sure it was. What I didn't realize is it was created by Paul Dini, who you might know of as the man who co-created the character Harley Quinn and one of the people behind Batman, the animated series. That has nothing to do with Stranger Things. I just thought I'd share that. So they're watching TV and the doorbell rings. And they're just like, they just assume that mom forgot something, but it's the Popo, the 5-0, the police are here. Hi, does Jane Hopper live here? Jonathan does a good job here of like questioning, like, I'm sorry, what's this about? They ask about her parents. He's like, oh, mom's out of town, but I'm her stepbrother. He's not just like, come on in. He's like a little hesitant. And one of the officers brings up an incident at the Rinkomania. And Will's like, that was an accident. And the other cop's like, we have a warrant here that says otherwise. A warrant? Jonathan's like, a warrant? That's crazy. That doesn't need to happen. And then 11 comes around the corner and sees them. And the cop says, hey there, are you Jane Hopper? And 11 just looks at them. And then, that's time. That is it. I've reached the conclusion of these 10 minutes. So what happens next? I'm sure you guys remember. I can't wait to find out because it's been a long time since I've seen the next 10 minutes. So I am definitely looking forward to that and looking forward to getting back to these shows more frequently. Look at that. I did one last week. I did one this week. I feel like I'm on a roll. So I got to keep the roll going. So what did we learn here in these 10 minutes? Well, we learned that it got out in the open about Mike and 11, like the kind of the airing of the grievances was said. So hopefully, actually, don't they get disconnected at this point and do they ever connect again until the end? I don't know. Until like the helicopter comes down, I'm really starting to wonder, because at a certain point it becomes a road trip for them. Oh, I can't wait to find out. It's been so long. Oh, I'm so excited. But we know that the cops are there looking for us. So the whole thing with Angela does have consequences. And the fact that Joyce is, on her way to Alaska also kind of has consequences on this, because if she was there, maybe things would have gone a little differently. What else? We didn't see Hopper or Joyce or Murray in this. We see that Lucas is, hanging out with some troubled guys, some guys who are there to cause trouble, I should say. They're trouble as well. They suffer from being pricks. And he's going to stay with them, but I like to think that he's staying with them to keep an eye on them. Meanwhile, Nancy is having to deal with the aftermath of Fred being killed, but she runs into her friends, Dustin, Max, Steve, and Robin, who were just hanging out with Eddie, kind of reassuring him that they are working on, hopefully, helping him with Vecna. And we see that son of a bitch Vecna. Excuse my language, but I'm furious. I hate monsters. And I think that covered everything. And I really wanted those Eggo waffles. They look delicious. Oh, and Will, you could see him kind of pining for Mike. You're not sure yet if it's for his attention or if because he wants it to be more. I don't know. But he definitely feels like the third wheel. He's like, because he's coming out there to see him too, not just his girlfriend. But we shall see what happens next time. Until then, you can follow me personally on all the socials at Geek Mentality. Blue Sky is really where it's at right now. Blue Sky, Geek Mentality on Blue Sky. Threads, I'm trying to do a little more on Threads. I just, it's just like Twitter kind of lost its luster for me. I think I still post the episodes. It's Stranger D Pod But you can go to Stranger Danger Podcast on Blue Sky. We're on there. Just go to strangerdangerpodcast.com to find everything, as well as every other podcast. Well, actually, all the other podcasts are over at fans.experts.com. Hint, it's the same website. It's just Stranger Danger Podcast brings you directly to this show. But of course, you can also follow us on YouTube at fans.experts, on Facebook at fans.experts. That's because all of the podcasts that I work on are at fansnotexperts.com. That is it. I am done. My stranger friends, I hope you are well. And I know you'll be hearing from me with another episode of Stranger Things Forever soon. But I hope that I get to talk to you about a Stranger Things trailer before then. Until next time, my friends, thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Stay stranger, my friends, and remember, it is you and me and people like us, stranger friends around the globe, who keep Stranger Things alive forever. Everyone go see Superman.
Fans not experts.